Being very tall probably is a good path to someday getting on a basketball court. Being freakishly tall sometimes means that there's a good chance some NBA team might take a chance on you. Unfortunately, with length come injuries, immobility, and sometimes even lack of skill. Especially 20, 30 years ago, just being very tall gave you a shot at making it in the NBA. Here are some of the tallest players in NBA history who just weren't good. And just for clarity, I won't talk about players who didn't perform up to expectations because of being a high pick, or a 7'7" guy who, being that tall, averaged just 6 rebounds for his career, aka George Muresan. They still had a role, they still were somewhat performing. I'll talk about absolute trash in the NBA. Also, to not have an hour-long video, I'll only talk about players over 7'3". And that makes a list of 13, and we can start off with Tacko Fall. At 7'6", Tacko Fall, alongside with Yao Ming, alongside with Shawn Bradley, is the third tallest player in NBA history. Unlike the previously mentioned players though, Tacko's career in NBA just hasn't panned out. After 4, I would say unimpressive years at UCF, where he averaged 10 points and 7.7 rebounds, Tacko went undrafted in the 2019 NBA draft. He was just too raw of a prospect. Boston Celtics took a chance on him and signed Tacko to a 2-way contract. In total though, Tacko played just 7 games in the NBA during his rookie year. He spent 1 more year in Boston playing in 19 games and then moved on to Cleveland, where he wasn't much better. As expected, he was clumsy, didn't offer much besides occasional rebound or some defensive presence right around the rim just because of his height. After a short stint with the Cavaliers, their G League affiliate, and then a subsequent release, Tacko then went to play last 2 seasons in China, and in his final year was playing just 13 minutes per game. His last stop was Puerto Rico just this year, and considering the drop in competition and the fact that at 28 years old he most likely won't get better, I think his NBA career is done and gone, with averages of 2.2 points and 2.4 rebounds. Next on the list we have Bhullar. I remember it like today when in 2015 Bhullar made history by becoming the first player of Indian descent to play in the NBA. The media was buzzing. He was a giant, maybe on verge of becoming a very good NBA player. He had the size for it, but 9 years later, here we are, and we can say that he just wasn't good enough for the NBA. I actually have a whole video on him, which is something you can watch next, but for this video, if you make the list, you sucked in the NBA. And he did. He played just 3 games, scored a total of 2 points, and grabbed a rebound. Bhullar spent some okay time in G League, even having a triple-double one game, but his career went down pretty quickly after a few years in G League. Bhullar had stops in Taiwan, then went to the second tier of China basketball, and then went back to Taiwan. At almost 32 years old, I think that's about it for his NBA career, and maybe even his basketball career in general. If you thought 3 games was little sample size, what about Slavko Vraneš, who played just 1 game in the league? At 7'5", just like Bhullar, he had the size to do at least something. Originally drafted by the Knicks, then released without even playing a game for them, Vraneš had his one and only game with the Portland Trail Blazers. His only NBA stat? 1 foul. He went back to Europe where he played 14 more years for 11 different teams, so he kinda wasn't good enough for any team, even in Europe. If you look at his accomplishments, they're kinda impressive. 3-time ABA League champion, no, not the ABA of the pre-NBA times, but the ABA in former Yugoslavia. 3-time Serbian champion, 3-time Serbian Cup winner. It looks impressive until you see that Slavko's role was to average about 3 points and 4 rebounds in those seasons. Slavko spent his last several seasons switching between Serbian and Iranian clubs, pretty much just collecting checks. That was his main job during his basketball career. Pavel Podkolzin at 7'5" was that big Dallas Mavericks pick from 2004. He was even picked in the first round, but never really developed a game to help the Mavericks. In his first season, Pavel played just 5 games for an average of 2 minutes per and had 1 point and 2 rebounds in total. Next year, he played 1 game, but that game was the biggest of his career. He played for 18 minutes and scored 3 points and grabbed 7 rebounds. After 2 years with the Mavs, he was released and went back to Russia to play for 13 more years before retiring for good in 2019. Chuck Nevitt, on the other hand, had a quite extensive NBA career for how bad he was. The old good Chuck Nevitt spent a total of 10 seasons in the league playing for 5 different NBA franchises. Way back in 1982, Chuck was selected by the Houston Rockets in the 3rd round as the 63rd pick. He played just 6 games for them before getting waived. He missed 1 year of NBA, then joined the Lakers casually to win the 1985 NBA championship with them. His contribution? Very small. About 1.5 points and 1 rebound in the 11 games during the regular season, and pretty much the same during the playoffs. Next season, he played 4 games for the Lakers and then joined the Pistons for 25 games to play with them, and to play even less, 4 minutes per game. He did stay 2 more years in Detroit though, filling the role of a 2.2 rebound per game type of guy. After which he returned to Houston for 2 seasons, missed a year, had a short stop in Chicago, then missed another year, and played 1 game for the Spurs in 93-94 season. That was pretty much it as far as his basketball career goes. In total, Chuck Nevitt played 155 games in the NBA and averaged 1.6 points and 1.5 rebounds for his career. Not good. And finally, we move on from 7'5" guys, and at 7'4", we have Priest Lauderdale. Priest Lauderdale was drafted late 1st round of the 1996 NBA draft, a draft that gave us some of the biggest legends of this game like Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant, Ray Allen, Steve Nash. Well, the draft also gave us Priest Lauderdale, who had just 2 seasons in the NBA. In his rookie year, Priest played in 35 games, albeit just for an average of 5 minutes per game. He lasted just 1 year with the Hawks though, and spent his second and last NBA season with the Nuggets, where he didn't play much more. His averages in NBA in 74 games, 3.4 points and 1.9 rebounds. After his NBA career, Lauderdale played in a bunch of other countries like Greece, Bulgaria, Cyprus, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, UK, United Arab Emirates, Iran, China, Iraq, and Lebanon. So he saw the world, but NBA-wise, he was pretty trash. Seung-jin so far has been the only player ever from South Korea to play in the NBA. Unfortunately, his NBA career wasn't a successful one. Picked in the 2nd round of the 2004 NBA draft as the 46th pick by Portland Trail Blazers, Seung-jin made quite a history at 7'3" and 300 pounds. He had the size to become something special for South Korean basketball. But pretty early you could see that it wasn't going to happen through the NBA. In his rookie year, he played in 19 games, and in his 2nd season, he played 60% more than he did as a rookie, which still amounted to just 8 minutes per game, 1.6 points and 1.8 rebounds. After 2 seasons with Portland, he was traded to Milwaukee, but never played there. After 1 more season in D-League, Seung-jin returned to South Korea and had 11 more seasons there before retiring for good in 2019. Peter John Ramos, another 7'3" guy. Oh, and by the way, all the guys remaining on this list will be 7'3". So Peter, a guy nicknamed Mr. Beast, before we knew about the real Mr. Beast, wasn't that much of a beast in the NBA. Also picked in the 2nd round of the 2004 NBA draft like Seung-jin, only even higher as the 32nd pick, Peter John Ramos had even worse career in the league. He played just 6 games for the team that drafted him, the Washington Wizards, and averaged 1.8 points and 0.7 rebounds in 3.3 minutes per game. Just bad. He waited 2 years for another crack at the NBA but didn't get it, even though he was a D-League All-Star in 2007. So he returned to Puerto Rico in 2007 and then just changed teams like socks. Peter John Ramos concluded his career in 2020, and in a career after NBA that spanned 13 seasons, he played for 17 teams. Talk about not being good enough for anyone. Walter, or Eddie Tavares is one of the more recent NBA projects. Originally from Cape Verde, Tavares was drafted in the 2014 NBA draft, but got his chance to play a year later with the Hawks, just for 11 games. And his career in NBA ended just another year later, playing 1 game for the Hawks and 1 game for the Cavaliers during the 2016-17 season. Tavares played just 13 games in NBA and averaged 2.5 points and 2.5 rebounds. But he is one of those guys whose career actually blossomed after the NBA. Right now he plays for Real Madrid, one of the best clubs in Europe, and is a champion, MVP, blocks leader, and has all type of other accolades in Europe. He's valued and good here, but he didn't prove himself in the NBA. And well, what type of weren't good or trash list would be complete without Hasheem Thabeet? Famously, one of the biggest draft busts in NBA history. Drafted as the 2nd overall pick in 2009 NBA draft, ahead of players like Steph Curry and James Harden, he never could find his place in the NBA, and actually his best season was his rookie season when he played in 68 games and even started 13 of them. In that best season, he averaged 3.1 points and 3.6 rebounds, so you could only imagine what he's like at his worst. Somehow, he mustered 224 games in the league and averaged only 2.2 points and 2.7 rebounds. He played for 4 different franchises but couldn't stick anywhere for more than 2 seasons. He probably had his best career year in Taiwan in 2021 when he was Defensive Player of the Year, and his last stop was a team in Tanzania in 2023. Tibor Pleiss is another guy who just couldn't make it in the NBA, but has developed a pretty good career here in Europe. In NBA, he was drafted in the 2nd round of the 2010 NBA draft, but had to wait 6 years for his only NBA opportunity. It came in 2016 with Utah Jazz. For 12 games, he was one of the bench warmers for the Jazz, and in total scored 24 points and grabbed 15 rebounds. After that, he returned to Europe, and while he isn't a world beater here either, he at least has a role here, and he even was the Turkish Cup final MVP in 2022. If Tibor has some accomplishments, Aleksandar Radojevič has none. Also, when it comes to NBA, he also was quite a high pick back in 1999 as he was selected 12th by the Toronto Raptors. In his rookie year, he played in just 3 games, and 4 years passed before he got another chance in the NBA. This time for the Utah Jazz. He started 6 out of 12 games but was playing bad. In total for his career, Radojevič averaged a cool 1.7 points and 2.4 rebounds. After his NBA career, he played for 8 more teams in Europe, never spending too much time at once with any of the teams. And his averages didn't really improve either, he just stayed bad. And the last one on our list is Keith Kloss, a Clipper for life, the face of the late 90s Clippers maybe. 130 games in the NBA, all with the Clippers, and of course, pathetic averages of almost 4 points and 3 rebounds per. He came to the NBA undrafted, which is noticeable. He then played in ABA. No, once again, not the pre-NBA one, the semi-professional one. Keith played basketball very sparingly after his NBA career, with several longer pauses in between, and officially concluded his career in 2012. So there you go, guys. Tallest players in NBA history who just weren't good. Which player do you remember the most? Which do you think had potential to be a good NBA player if given additional chances? Please leave your comment down below. Don't forget to like the video, share it, and of course, subscribe to the channel. I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. This was Purple Prince, and I'm out.